technically speaking, the airline doesn't really exist anymore. The aircraft type is long retired, but still I think it's one of the best liveries we've had in the skies. So let's take a closer look together right after the drop. With that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at an Airbus A340-300 of LAN Airlines. At the front of the box, we have a lovely image of the aircraft in real life, underneath which we find the LAN branding. Then on the back side of the box we have the image once more, and we are also given the original dimensions of the aircraft alongside some additional information. So that's it for the box. Let's take a closer look inside and at the aircraft model itself. And here she is, the Airbus A340-300 in the technically last standard livery of LAN Airlines or LAN Chile, when the Chilean airline merged with its Brazilian counterpart TAM Airlines to create LATAM. The Airbus A340-300 was a part of the LAN Airlines fleet from the year 2000 until 2015, when they were retired. The aircraft model itself is from Herpa Wings and was produced in the year 2007. So let us take a closer look at the aircraft to see what it actually has to offer. And as always, we start off with the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer have the LAN Airlines branding. On the fuselage we then find the full registration code of the aircraft, and at the very tail of the aircraft we do also have a little bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. At the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage we then have the writing of LAN, and I could try to pronounce that in Spanish because it's an acronym, but I would probably butcher it. So basically it just means National Airline. Next to that we have a one-word logo, of which the airline used to be a member. The cockpit section itself, well, it really doesn't offer much. In fact, it only offers us the cockpit windows. And it's kind of the same story with the engine nacelles. They have been kept in all white, just as at least half of the fuselage, but we do have the silver leading edge, so hey, at least we do have that as a printed detail. The physical detailing is also not the best, especially when we look from the backside. That does look much better in more recent A340 releases from Herpa Wings, but at least when we look into the engines from the front, we can very nicely see the engine fan blades. But from the engines we can move on to the wings, because I do believe we have quite a few more details to discover here. If we start off with the top side, we can see the different flaps, slats and spoilers have been carved out very nicely. We have some different shades of grey for additional detailing, and we have the full registration code of the aircraft, which we then also find on the underside. And I must say here also I think the physical detailing is rather nice. That does of course also include the winglets. Then we have the landing gear. That is the standard landing gear that Herpa used to use for all the Airbus A340 models, and I actually think that when it comes to the physical detailing, that is actually pretty decent. The only thing I would have liked to have is of course a bit of printed details, especially around the front landing gear, but overall I think it looks rather nice. And then last but certainly not least, we do also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here in the backside of the aircraft and here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Airbus A340-300 in the last livery of LAN Airlines from Herpa Wings in scale 1 to 500. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Well, there are some places where the model definitely shows its age. I'm particularly thinking about the backside of the engines, or the way the wings have been mounted into the fuselage. More recent A340 releases from Herpa Wings do a much nicer job with that. We could also talk about the print quality, which is of a very high standard, but more importantly about the lack of any detailing. I mean, this is really kept to a bare minimum. But of course that's not new, and even in more recent Herpa releases you would probably not get much more for your money. But why am I less inclined to really criticize this aircraft model? Well, I mean, it's from 2007, and basically the older the model gets, the more lenient I will be. That does certainly not mean that the model could not have benefited from additional details, because it really would have. The point I'm trying to get across is that if a collector buys a Herpa model from 2007 in 2021, it's probably nothing to do with the amount of details the model will offer, but more a personal connection to the aircraft type or the airline. That's the case for me here, which is why I would recommend the model, but obviously you would also have to have a personal connection to the airline or the aircraft type for you to have it make sense. Well, I hope that made any sense. Anyway, with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like. That would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.